So to pick up where we left off, so we did our nice menu. Looks good, something usable, we can use on our website. But now the next thing I want to do is we want to use unordered list. I can use unordered list you by applying it to a photo gallery. Yeah, before we do that, I do want to point out on page, I think it's at the bottom of page 271 and 272, it talks about header image text image replacing it. And what that is, it allows you to put in for devices for accessibility reasons. You may have some devices that may not be able to read the text. You may have someone who has a background image that has their logo and name on it and stuff, but it won't be. But it may not. These screen reader may not be able to pick it up. So they have something. So what you can do, you can actually lay a H1 tag with the writing in it over, directly over the background image, so it actually makes it easy and readable for the screen reader or for the assistive device. So that read up on that is actually a pretty cool technique. So you can read up on it. But right now, what we're going to do, that we are going to use the same file we're working on, our City of Sumter or yellow menu we were using, and we're going to move it over, and we're not going to apply it to the same thing. We're going to apply images to it, so we can make us a nice little photo gallery. Okay, so in your chapter 6 folder, let me go to mine real quick. Yeah, in your chapter 6 folder, let me back out of this one. You have, I think it's in the starters folder. You have some images. These are the in this folder here, in the starters folder. This is where these are the images that we're going to use. So we're going to use the photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, and photo 4, photo 5, and we're going to use those. We even may play with the thumbnails. I think I may have mentioned thumbnails in class before, but what thumbnails are, there are smaller versions of the image, and when you click on the image, that little thumbnail, it brings up the larger image, so it makes so you can see all of it. So we'll see, if we have time to do that. But so let's go ahead and actually make our photo gallery. So it's actually using the same technique that we use for our menu. It's just that now, instead of using hyperlinks, we're going to use image tags. Okay, so here, this is my starter1.html file that we were working on earlier. This is it. So I am going to, so let's come down here to our HTML part, and let's go ahead and let's add in our brand new UL unordered list or UL tag, and we're going to, instead of actually putting hyperlinks like we have here, we're going to put images. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm going to start right after my closing UL tag that I have here from our little menu. I'm going to make a brand new UL tag or unordered list. I'll move you down a little bit, yeah. Okay, nice. Okay, now let me flat screen. There you go. Yeah. Let me see, so I can see. Yeah, I went half screen so I can see what what the name of my images are. All right, so for your li tag, we're going to put in the very first one, says photo 1. So like I said, we're going to use our image tag, our img tag, img, our source or our src equals and in quotation marks, I'm going to put in the name of my photo. So it is photo one dot. Let me check what this file extension is. It is a JPEG, JPG. All right, let's put JPG. All right, now you can, if you want to, you can just like you can actually change the height and width of the image. If you want to get a certain width, you can do that. You can do it in I recommend doing it in CSS, so it can actually be universal throughout the whole entire web page or website. And also, you have to, with your file names, and I noticed this on some homeworks in the past. But whenever you have a file name, and especially a picture file name, it cannot have a space in it. If you have a space in between in your file name, for example, if I had a space right here between photo and one, the validator will bring back an error. So when you're working with photographs or actually images, you want to make sure that your file name does not have any spaces in it. If you do have an image that has spaces in the file name, rename it and take out the spaces in the file name so it can be pushed all together. Okay, so now we have our image in there, image title in there. Let me go ahead and put my alt tag. And for right now, I'm just going to put photo 1. Photo 1. Right, and I'm going to close out my image. After I close out my image, I am going to close out my first list item. Okay. LI, and I'm going to keep going on this. Put in my second image, and this one is photo 2. So it's photo 2 dot, let me check the file extension. Dot JPG. Alright, so it's the same thing. JPG, my alt text, and I'm going to say just photo 2. Keep it simple. Yeah, close up my image tag, and I'm going to close out my li tag. And I think it has 5 pictures, I think. 6. Okay, so if we do 6 of them, we'll have 6 going across. So I'm going to be cheap here, and I'm going to copy and paste, and just each line of my line of code, and just change the name of the file name. So at 4, and all I'm doing is just I copied my line here that has my photo2.jpg in it, and now I'm just pasting it and changing the file name as well as my alt text to match my photograph, my brand new photograph. 6 and 6. So if I look over here on the side here, I will see it goes up to 6. It has photo 6. Okay, so I have 6 photos on there. Okay, now because this is an unordered list, okay, of course it's going to have the bullets on it, and just like we did before with the menu, we're going to have to you will have to do the link style type, and so to get rid of the bullets. But because we're using the same file that we have our menu on, like we did earlier, is at that list style type. It's already has already been changed, so we won't see it on this file. But when you want, so if you're working on, say, for a photo gallery for your project, you and you want to use the unordered unordered list technique, you will have to use go into your CSS and change the list style type. You have to change that to nothing or none, so you can make the bullets disappear. So if I were to save this right now, because we have our images in there, six, yeah, six. Yes, I'm gonna save this. Save my starter1.html file. I'm gonna save it, and I am going to load this up, yeah, into my inside of my browser. So I'm using Google Chrome right now. So I'm going to refresh. Oh no! What happened? So I mentioned this in class, I believe, but if I look back here, the name of the folder that my images are in is called starter. So because my images are in a different location than my actual file is, when I do my file name in my image tag, I have to also include the name of the folder. So I had to go back here to my tag here, or go back to my HTML here, and before each, because these photos are in a folder called starters, I'm going to have to add the name of the folder starters to the file name, so the browser will know to go inside that folder to get those pictures. And I have to do this to all of my images. This starter, right? Yeah, the starters. Okay, starters with an S. Yeah, so like I said, this is to let the web browser know where to get the images from. And this actually is a very common technique to have the images for file management reasons, to have the images inside of a separate folder than you have your HTML files. So like I said, it's a very common technique. Actually, you can recommend it, and it's for file management reasons or file management purposes. Okay, so now that I added my folder in there, I'll come here, go to start, go to save, and I'm going to go to back to my Chrome, hit my refresh, yay, and there they go. So they're in there, just a little bit. Okay, so you can see that's a little difference in size. And like I said, we can actually go and actually resize these images. That's no problem. So they'll be nice. So they actually be nice and neat across. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can also change. Instead of having them going across, you can actually have them going like 3 by 3. If you view your book, your book has it that way. So when I believe I talked about when we in chapter 4, when I talked about images in class, I mentioned that when you are resizing the image, you can make a larger image smaller, but you cannot make a smaller image larger. If you try to make a smaller image larger, you'll actually you'll actually try to stretch the pixels, or what I like to call stretch marks. You give the image stretch marks because you're stretching it bigger than what it's supposed to be. So what we're going to do here, we're going to resize our images to the rest of our images to the smallest one. So I think this is the smallest one. Let's see exactly which one it is. More than likely, I think that's maybe 5. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think this is photo 5 right here. So what we need to do, we need to find out what the dimensions are for this particular image, and we're going to, in CSS, we're going to set our image tags. Or we're going to write a style to have all of our images set to that particular, those particular dimensions, so it can be nice and neat. Okay, so I'll go back to my uh, notepad here, and first of all, we actually need to find out how big that image is. And you said it was photo 5. So let me go back over here. Go to our starters folder. And that photo 5 is, yeah, it is 225 by 168. Okay, so that is the dimensions that we need to use in our CSS to make all of our images nice and neat. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, go scroll up, and I want to go to my inside of my style tag. Oops, style tag here. And I'm going to put in my style for my image tags. And here, for my the style I'm going to put is I'm going to adjust the width and the height of my images. So we'll do img. Alright, and we're going to do width, and our width is, what was it? Was it 225? Something like that? Yeah, 225 for the width, 225 pixels, and our height is 168. Alright, pixels. Alright. Now, because we are applying this size to the image tag, anytime in our HTML down here at the bottom where the browser sees a img tag, it's going to apply that. Anytime you see that img tag down here in the HTML, this is where that size resizing that we just did in the CSS is going to apply. So let's see if it works. Alright, so we're going to do save, and I'm going to reload this. Yay! So now it looks all nice and neat, right? So yeah, so we can say, oh, that's nice. And in, I think it was it chapter 2, chapter 3, something like that, we talked about if you want, you can actually put all the images in figure tags, and you can add a caption to the images. So you can actually do that as well. So now you have a nice little photo gallery. Let's see. Yeah, I was going to talk about. Let's talk about the thumbnails. All right. So, like I mentioned earlier, thumbnails are basically smaller versions. I don't say basically, but they are smaller versions of the actual image. So it will allow you to have a image hyperlink. So when you click on the image, it links to a larger version of that image, so you can see it, and usually it's to see it much better. So if I go back to my my folder, my chapter 6 folder, okay, they have thumbnail images for, yeah, so wherever you see photo 1 thumb, photo 2 thumb, photo 3 thumb, and photo 4 thumb, those are the thumbnails. And we're going to make these images links, and we're going to link them to the full version or the full size of the photo 4. Okay, so let's do that real quick. trying to see how we're going to do this. Because right now we actually, yeah, so I'm going to do this. I am going to don't want to do an ID. We'll have to make an ID. Yeah. So I'm going to take out in my style sheet or my style yes sheet at the top of my file. I am going to delete the style that I have for my IMG. Okay, so I'm going to delete those. I'll delete that. Okay, so there I go. I'm delete it, and I'm going to make a let's make an ID, and we'll make an ID that has just that that has a style that applies just to the thumbnails, so we can actually have the bigger sizes. All right, so let's see here. All right, so let's come down. So let's first, while we're here, let's go ahead and make the hyperlinks. Let's make the image hyperlinks. So we can we can click on our image. We can click on our thumbnail, and we can have our thumbnail linked to the bigger image. All right, so I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just spacing this out so I can see a little bit. And I think I said it goes up to thumbnail 4, I believe. Okay, so using the unordered list that we have already, that we have right now, we're going to add image hyperlink to the photo 1, the photo 2, the photo 3, and the photo 4. Okay, so to do this, we are going to have okay, so we are going to have our href, right, for our anchor tag or for our hyperlink. All right, and for this particular case, we are in with our href. We're going to put in the actual name of the file. So it's not going to have any IMG on it. It's just going to have just starter slash photo 1 dot JPEG. Okay, that's all that's going to be in there for right now. I'll go ahead and take this alt tag part out here too, because we don't need it anymore. All right, so that's our first part. That's our link part. Now, because we're doing a image hyperlink inside of my second part, bring it down here for a little bit. In my second part of my hyperlink or for my anchor tag, I'm going to put in the image tag for our thumbnail. So I pass img src equals, and let me get the name of that file. Come over here on the side. Yeah, so it's photo1 thumb.jpg. Right, so right here, I'm going to put in the name of my photo. And remember, because we're in that starter folder, I have to put that file is in that starter folder. I have to put the name, the starter folder name, as part of my file name for my link. So starter slash photo 1 thumb dot jpg. All right, and I'm gonna close that out. All right, so now I have the first part with my big image on it. Then I have my image, my thumbnail image, because I'm saying this is the part that the person is going to click on to get the bigger image. And I'm going to close out after I make my image tag for my thumbnail, or for my thumbnail image. I'm going to go ahead and close out my anchor tag so I can have my hyperlink. Alright, so you have two parts. So you have the li tag. It's still inside the li tag because it's still an unordered list. I have my link to my file for my link for my hyperlink, and I have the image, the thumbnail image that the person is going to see when they go to click on it. So let's see. So we got the first one done. Let's go ahead and let's do the second one. So I'm going to separate this up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing here. My href equals, and like I said, I'm just going to take out all the img part that we had up here before, because all I'm doing is just for that hyperlink, I'm just linking to that image. Alright, so that's my first part, just the name of the image. Now, for my second part of my hyperlink, I have to put in my actual IMG tag for the thumbnail that the person is going to click on. Starter slash, I think it's photo 2 thumb.jpg. Yeah, and because we are dealing with an image tag, we have to have our alt attribute, and that's one thing I forgot to do on that first one. Alt, and I'm just going to put photo 2. Yeah. Now, after I have finished putting in my image tag for my thumbnail, I can go ahead and close out my hyperlink. Alright, yeah. Okay. Now that I have this one already made, let me go back and actually put my alt tag in there, my alt attribute in there. Let's say photo 1. Alright. Now I have this part already done. I'm just going to copy. I'm going to paste this information right here, so to save me the time from actually typing all that stuff in. And I'm going to change the names of my images. Three. Four. Alright. So now I have thumbnails attached to the first 4 images of my little photo gallery here. So when I click on my first 4 images, I should be able to, when I click on them, I should be able to get the bigger version of the images, of their actual, the actual images. Okay, so I'm going to do File, Save. Going to do Refresh. Alright. Okay, so these right here are the 4. Ooh, you see that? Haha. Yeah, so the reason why, because we have our nice little red background here, is because earlier when we did our menu, we added the hover pseudo class to our anchor tag. So because we are using anchor tags on our little photo gallery here, it also applied our pseudo class of hover to the images. So that's Kind of a nice, accident right there. All right, so now we have them in there. So now we can click on our image, and it brings up the bigger image. So it gives you, and you can do this. You can do this technique with any image, and a lot. And this is a technique that most photo galleries actually use. So if you want to apply this, like I said, you want to apply this nice, technique to your photo gallery for your project, please feel free to do so. Because, like I said, it looks really nice, and it's information and code you already know how to do. You just putting everything together, and you don't have to worry about going out and finding code that may be very hard to understand and may not work when you actually get it. Okay.